Call the meeting to order and call on Councilor Watson to lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll.
Councilor Brown.
Here.
Councilor Weaver. Here. Councilor Broughton. Here. Councilor Watson. Here. Councilor Barton.
Here.
Mayor Lovelace.
Here.
We have a quorum to do business.
Approval of the June 22nd meeting.
Sorry.
Motion to approve the regular meetings of June 22nd.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Brown, second by Councilor Barton to approve the meeting, the minutes of the regular meeting of June 22nd. Is there any discussion or any changes to be made? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver? Yes. Councilor Broughton? Yes. Councilor Watson? Yes. Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries and the minutes are approved.
I'd like to welcome our visitors here today. I appreciate y'all being here. And the new business, the first item is to approve the accounts payable for June 2020.
Motion to approve accounts payable for June 2020.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Barton, second by Councilor Brown to approve the accounts payable for June 2020. Is there any discussion or any changes to be made? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton? Yes. Councilor Watson?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries and the accounts payable are approved.
Next item is to approve an airport lease with the U.S. Navy, ordinance number 20-0713, and I'll call on Earl Lambert.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Appreciate y'all giving me time here to explain this to you. I'm going to back up just a little bit, or maybe there's some of you that don't know just a little of the history. 25 years ago, in about a month or so, we were in a situation at the airport. I actually got a call from the FAA director over in that was over the south part of the United States. He's in Jackson, Mississippi. And he said, Earl, just want you to know you need to go out and get your board, go out there and pick the runway you like. Because we're going to pull all the support for the rest of the runway. We had three. One was a little short of 4,000 feet. And it had kind of died a death of deterioration. We'd already, between the city and the state, that dropped it anyway, which didn't really hurt us. But we had two left that were, let's just say, a mile. And 150 feet wide, a mile long. And the FAA said they couldn't, we didn't have enough civilian operations for them to support two runways for Britain of that magnitude. So he said, you pick one, and we'll call it your primary, and we in the state will continue to support it. He said, now you don't have to lose it, the other, if the state will support it. And of course, I made a call to the state, and they just kind of busted out laughing. They said, no, we can't support it. And he said, of course, the city could keep it itself. And it equated to 6 miles of county road in that one runway. So the city couldn't handle it either. So we were going to lose the runway. We'd already lost one. So the Navy caught wind of this, and they stepped in, and they said, just wait a minute. Let us think about that. We're going to bring something to the table for you. And they proposed to the city, and this was 25 years ago, they said, here's what we'll do. We want to keep both runways because they is they train, is sensitive to the wind. And that would give them, if the wind's blowing this way, you always take off into the wind. And if they were down to one runway, they would lose some training time if the wind wasn't right. They really wanted two runways. So they stepped in to shorten this up, and they said, look, here's what we'll do. If we'll take over the maintenance, not only of the one you're going to lose, we'll take over maintenance of both of them. Which was, it is a tremendous amount of asphalt. The runways out there are military spec, and even if the Navy had stepped in, we were going to have to mill up and do away with about half of it. Instead of 150 feet wide, they want us to come down to 75 or 80, move our lights in, and have one runway. The Navy stepped in and said, we'll just support both of them and the striping, but we don't want that obligation unless you'll give us some. And I said, well, what do you want? They said, we want to know if the city would agree to do business with us on that basis for 25 years, sign a 25-year agreement. And in it, we also got, I meant to look this up, but I forgot, but we get about $5,000 a month. They pay us for some other things we do for them. We run them a very small little 600 square foot building, and it was built in the, let's just say 70s, late 60s, and that's where their little fire crew hangs out. And it's been very good for the city and for Brewton. Without them, I mean, that money we get into the clerk's office each month pretty much takes care of our budget, a large portion of it. And they resurfaced it 2 times in that 25 years, and they're getting ready to do it right now. They've surveyed and did all their core work in the last month. It's up again, and each time they do that, it's in the $4 to $6 million range. So it's quite a deal. Now, let's zoom up, let's get up to the date. That's what's happened in the past. This lease ran out the last day of June. We're actually running, as they call it, we've got such a good relationship with them. We're running in arrears. That lease has run out, but due to the virus, and they had to come do what they call an appraisal of their operation, not of work, but of the operation. That took way longer than usual, and everything's just running slower with this pandemic we're in, but they said, don't worry about it. We'll just start July 1st. They're actually already working on what they hope will be a new agreement. And that's what I brought to you this afternoon. They want to sign another 25 years. And we've been working and reading and working, and basically it's the same verbiage, it's the same deal. They practice 5 days a week, 30 minutes after daylight, 30 minutes before dark. We will let them practice on Saturday, only if they're behind in their training time. And they've come to me, the average is probably 7 to 10 Saturdays a year. It's not much, but say if it rains every day for weeks, like we get one of those spells and they lose, they get behind on their training time, they'll call me and say, Earl, we'd like to fly 2 Saturdays and skip one, and the next one, they'll tell me the dates, and we'll just post it on the board. We've never had a problem with that, but we do make them start at 9 o'clock if they work Saturdays. No Sunday, no night hours. And we do that because there are people, there are children and people at work that that are maybe sleeping a little late on Saturday, and we don't know where there's noise complaints. So it's just worked, it's worked wonderful. There's a lot of people that like to trade with us, a lot of little towns that are envious of this situation. But I've got this new lease that it starts, it really started July 1, a week or so ago. It runs through another 25 years. And what I'm here to explain it and ask you to approve the ordinance to give the mayor the power to execute this, the authority. They are going up on our, they call it rental rate. The new is $70,100 a year, and it's to be adjusted 2% annually on like cost of living index. Even if the index were, if we get in a period where the index was 0, they'll never go backwards. We'll always be in the plus on what they give us. But we'll get $70,000, which it'll mean what Alex gets monthly will go up closer to 6, where it's been a little over 5. So that'll help a little. And you'll see me again, unfortunately, they want us to build a new building. And I won't talk to them about that much today, but if we do, they've already agreed on about a $30,000 a year rental for that. They call it the crash building. And it needs it badly, but they're willing to include that in this 25-year lease. If they do, we'll get $100,000 a year. That'll be an additional 30 with the 7. So it's a good document, and I'll say this, over the term, it's worth, and that's the complete lease, that's worth about $15 million to the city. And we executed, I don't know where the 25 years went. I'll probably be gone before this one's out. Well, maybe not. That'll be 95. That's doubtful. Anyway, I think it's a thing to do. This has helped us too in this pandemic. The airport, we rent hangars and we get money from the Navy. That's the reason you guys don't have to see me much. We make enough money. We're not making a lot of money, but we make enough money to survive. With the airport works, doesn't have to be a burden to the general fund.
All hangers out, I rented out there.
All full. Yeah. We're talking about some more. And in this pandemic, a lot of airports have just had suffered terribly. We've been clicking, our hangars are full, and the Navy's still there, haven't missed a beat, so our money's been completely stable through a bad time. And,
Earl, have they given you any indication on when they may start the paving?
No. I think they're still working a lot of, I think what they're working is kind of technical. Those runways are so wide, they've not been shedding water to please everybody. And they're wanting to create, they did a very extensive survey job. And they're trying to work that in a computer and engineering program. Joe will probably remember some of that with the county. You got to get the water off the pavement. And it's so flat, it's so wide, they're wanting to build the crown up a little bit. So they had to do a really extensive survey to pick it up in the middle. And it'd be something you might have to even see with your eye. Water will run downhill. Well, the reason I'm talking about that, they've got to have the answer to all of that to know how much tonnage.
No.
It's going to change the asphalt tonnage a fair amount to do that. And then that'll reflect in their appropriation. It could even be next year, but they've done all the coring and all the surveys in to develop the numbers. And it needs, they did a crack seal on one runway a year and a half ago, and it was so bad they just didn't bother to crack seal the other. That's the one they're going to start off with pavement. So I don't have a good number on that yet, but it's in the works. And I'll take any questions y'all have about any of it, if you have any.
I'd just like to say, Earl, and I've been in several meetings on this with Earl and several conversations, but the amount of work Earl's put in on this is really quite amazing, and for Brewton to get another 25-year lease is, again, quite amazing. So I just, on behalf of the council, I want to thank you, Earl, for all what you do out at the airport.
You're more than welcome. It's kind of about relations. The Navy, they're really not bad to work with, and it boils down to a relationship. And they like Brewton, they like coming, and we work together. We just don't. It's just a rarity we ever have any kind of problem. The little minor things, but everything runs pretty good there. They even had to abandon a couple of fields down in Baldwin County due to problems with encroachment and people building houses too close and things like that. But we're in a good situation out there to have everybody far enough back. It doesn't bother anybody. All right.
Any other questions or comments? If not, the ordinance number is 20-0713.
Motion to approve ordinance 20-0.
Oh, we got to introduce it, right?
That's right.
Yes, you would need to introduce first.
Motion to introduce ordinance number 20-0713.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Brown, second by Councilor Weaver to introduce ordinance number 20-0713. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Councilor Brown,
Yes.
Councilor Weaver,
Yes.
Councilor Broughton, Councilor Watson, Councilor Barton.
Yes.
Motion carries, and ordinance number 20-0713 is introduced.
Make a motion for immediate consideration, ordinance number 20-0713-1.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Weaver, second by Councilor Barton for immediate consideration of ordinance number 20-0713. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Councilor Brown,
Yes.
Councilor Weaver,
Yes.
Councilor Broughton, Councilor Watson, Councilor Barton.
Yes.
The ordinance for immediate consideration requires unanimous consent for immediate consideration, so it's introduced, but we'll carry forward to the next meeting to vote for approval.
All right. The next item is to approve an FAA airport grant agreements, resolution 20-0713. And I guess, Earl, that'd be you too?
Yes, this is really just our yearly grant. The city receives $150,000 a year in entitlement funds. We can roll them over and create more, but if we have grant work, some problems in the airport that will fall under that amount, we do a little job each year. This year we've got some repairs to the drainage system, which that piece of property is marginal swampland. But what makes it tick, years ago, the old CCC labor, they came out there and dug all these ditches and put, I call it the Egyptian drainage system in, and lowered the water table. And it's very critical that we maintain the drainage system for that water table that never creep back up and it gets soft again. And we've got, it's in good shape, but we've got some call invert boxes. That's where the water runs in a hole and gets into the system. Those were, back in those days, those were built with concrete blocks. Now, you order them in a precast. It comes just a big lump of concrete already poured together. Back in those days, they made it by hand, and those old blocks have deteriorated. And that's what this grant works for. We're going to reinforce the tractors over the years mowed and crumbled and loved some. So we're going to go through and reform and pull. And this is actually this year, this is 100% grant. With the COVID, there'll be no match. So it's all FAA money. The state or the city will have to match it. I think the bid was $141,000.
They've approved $211,748.
Oh, that's right. That was for the contractor, and you got engineering on top of that.
And really what y'all would be approving on this is authorizing the mayor as the signatory on the documents.
That's right. No money involved.
That's resolution number 20-0713.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Broughton, second by Councilor Brown to approve resolution number 20-0713. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton? Councilor Watson? Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and the resolution to approve the mayoral signatory for the FAA airport grant agreements is approved.
Next one is to approve the renewal of the USGS stream flow gauging stations agreement, resolution 20-0713-1.
I'll motion to approve resolution 20-0713-1.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Watson, second by Councilor Barton to approve resolution number 20-0713-1. Is there any discussion? Well, it's Conecuh River, Murder Creek, and Burnt Corn Creek. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Councilor Brown?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton? Councilor Weaver?
Yes.
Councilor Broughton? Councilor Watson?
Yes.
Councilor Barton?
Yes.
Motion carries, and the stream flow gauging resolution is approved.
Meeting adjourned.